Heartland fans, get ready for the most unexpected twist in Heartland history. Borden's shocking return in Season 19, Episode 1 has left us all speechless. How did Ty come back? How does Amy react? And what does this mean for Lindy, Jack, Lou, Georgie, and Tim? Stick around as we break down every emotional moment, including Ty and Amy's heartfelt conversation that will bring tears to your eyes. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Next Flying, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on your favorite Heartland moments. Now, let's get into it. Let's start with the biggest question on everyone's mind. How does Ty Borden return? Season 19, Episode 1 opens with Amy at Heartland Ranch, just like any other morning. She's saddling up Spartan, her late mother's horse, preparing for a ride with Lindy. But as she's brushing Spartan, she suddenly freezes. The wind picks up, and we hear a horse galloping in the distance. Amy turns, her heart pounding, and there, standing at the edge of the ranch, is Ty Borden. At first, she thinks she's imagining it. Her eyes well up with tears. The man she thought was gone forever is right in front of her. But how is this real? Ty, with that familiar, gentle smile, takes a deep breath and says, "Amy, I never stopped loving you." This moment hits hard. After years of pain, Amy sees the love of her life standing there alive. So, how is this possible? Heartland has chosen to bring Ty back in an unbelievable twist. He was never truly gone. Instead, after the tragic incident that took him away in Season 14, a shocking truth had been hidden all these years. Here's where things take an unexpected turn. In a series of intense flashbacks, we learn the real story behind Ty's disappearance. Instead of passing away, Ty was secretly taken into medical care after a life-threatening condition. But here's the shocking part: he lost his memory. A rare post-traumatic condition caused him to forget his past, including Amy, Lindy, and Heartland. For years, he unknowingly lived in another town under the care of a doctor who helped him recover. But then, in a heartbreaking moment, Ty starts having flashbacks of Amy and Lindy. He remembers the ranch, the love he left behind, and suddenly, everything comes rushing back. That's when he makes his way back home to Heartland, to Amy, and to the life he once knew. And now he's here, standing in front of Amy, waiting for her to say something. But what will she do? Let's talk about Amy's reaction, because this moment is pure heartbreak and overwhelming joy. At first, Amy is frozen. Her body trembles as she stares at Ty. She whispers, "This can't be real." Tears stream down her face as years of pain, grief, and longing collide all at once. She wants to run to him, to hug him, to feel his warmth, but she's also terrified. What if this is just a dream? And then, in one emotional burst, Amy rushes into his arms. She sobs, holding him tightly, never wanting to let go. But here's the thing: Amy has spent years learning how to live without Ty. Can she suddenly welcome him back as if nothing happened? That's the question that lingers as Amy pulls back and asks, "Why? Why didn't you come back sooner?" Ty looks down, his expression filled with guilt. He says, "I didn't know who I was, Amy. But the moment I remembered, I had to find you." Amy is torn. She loves him, but she's also afraid. What does this mean for their future? And then comes the most emotional part of the episode: Lindy meeting Ty for the first time. Amy gently calls Lindy outside. The little girl, now older and full of life, looks up curiously. She sees the tall man standing next to her mother. Amy kneels down, whispering, "Lindy, this is your dad." Lindy's eyes widen. She looks at Ty for a long moment, then softly asks, "Are you really my daddy?" Ty's voice shakes as he kneels, saying, "Yes, sweetheart." And I've waited so long to see you. Lindy hesitates, then suddenly runs into his arms. The father-daughter embrace melts everyone's hearts. Ty holds her close, whispering, "I love you so much." It's an unforgettable, tear-jerking moment that defines the episode. Ty's return isn't just emotional for Amy and Lindy, the whole Heartland family is shaken. First up is Jack Bartlett, the patriarch of Heartland. Jack has always seen Ty as the son he never had, and the bond they've shared over the years is deep, honest, and unwavering. Jack's reaction to Ty's return is one of shock. An overwhelming emotion fills the air as Ty stands there with Amy and Lindy. Jack approaches cautiously, his expression unreadable at first. For a moment, it seems like he might retreat into the comfort of his stoic, tough exterior. But then, the weight of the moment hits him. Ty is back. He's standing right there in front of him. Jack takes a few tentative steps forward, his eyes scanning Ty's face, trying to make sense of the surreal moment. He blinks twice, as if expecting Tay to disappear when he opens his eyes. But no, Ty is real, and Jack's heart begins to race. The realization that the son he thought he had lost forever is now standing before him almost brings him to his knees. Without saying a word, Jack wraps Tay in a tight, bear-like hug. His rough exterior gives way to pure emotion as he whispers into Ty's ear, "Welcome home, son." The moment feels like a lifetime in the making, a father finally holding his son again after years of loss, regret, and longing. Jack pulls back slightly, his eyes glistening with tears, though he refuses to let them fall. For Jack, this is a moment of victory, healing, and profound love. It's clear that Ty's return has come at the right time. For so long, Jack has been the rock, holding everything together. But now, he can lean on Ty again, just as they always did. Ty's return is a healing salve for Jack's old wounds. It feels as if everything that was once broken is beginning to come back together again. Now, let's dive into Lou Bartlett's reaction to Tay's return. Lou has been through so much in her life, managing the ranch, raising her family, and being the emotional glue for her sister, Amy. But seeing Ty again, after everything that has happened, is not easy for her. When she first hears the news, Lou's reaction is a mix of skepticism, anger, and a flood of relief. She spent years trying to be strong for Amy, believing that Ty was gone forever. And now that he's back, Lou is faced with all the emotions she had buried. As she steps forward to greet Ty, her emotions are visibly mixed. She crosses her arms in a protective stance, looking at him with a mixture of confusion and resentment. She has questions, and she needs answers. "Why didn't you come back sooner? Why didn't you let us know what happened? Where were you all this time?" Lou demands, her voice filled with frustration. "Amy's been waiting for you. Lindy has grown up without you. Why now? Why couldn't you come back sooner?" Tay stands there, humbled by Lou's words, knowing there is no simple answer. "I didn't know who I was," he finally says. "I lost everything. But the moment I remembered, I knew I had to come back." Lou listens, her heart softening as the reality of Tay's condition settles in. She's been angry, but there's no denying the relief that comes from seeing him back where he belongs. After everything that has happened, Lou knows that Ty's return isn't just for Amy, it's for the whole family. She takes a step forward, her arms uncrossing as she says, "I guess welcome back too. We've all missed you." Despite her initial anger, Lou's love for Ty shines through. She knows that family is everything. And even though she might not fully understand the reasons behind his disappearance, she's glad to have him back. It's a powerful moment of forgiveness, healing, and family unity. Now, let's talk about Georgie, the young woman who grew up under Ty's guidance and always looked up to him. Georgie's relationship with Ty was more than just mentor and student. It was that of an older brother and younger sister. When Georgie first hears that Ty has returned, she is overcome with a flood of emotions. She remembers the man who always believed in her, who supported her when others didn't. She remembers the kind, loving Ty who helped her face her fears and pursue her dreams. As Ty and Amy stand at the center of the ranch, Georgie watches from a distance, her face softening with a quiet expression. Is it really him? She wonders, almost unable to believe what she's seeing. When she finally steps forward, she hesitates, unsure how to act. After all, she was just a kid when Tay was taken away. But as Ty looks up and meets her gaze, it all comes rushing back. Georgie smiles and rushes into his arms. Ty holds her tightly, and for a moment, time stands still. Now a young woman, Georgie whispers, I missed you so much. For Georgie, Tay's return symbolizes everything she has fought for. She's faced so many struggles over the years, and the idea that Ty was gone was something she could never truly accept. But now, with him back, Georgie feels a sense of completeness that she hasn't felt in years. Georgie pulls back, wiping away a tear. She says, I knew you'd come back, Ty. I always knew. Ty smiles, a proud look in his eyes as he responds, I'm here now and I'm never going away again. It's a beautiful, tear-jerking moment between them, and for Georgie, it marks the beginning of a new chapter, a chance to continue the journey Ty helped her start. Lastly, we have Tim Fleming, the man who's always had a complicated relationship with Ty. For years, Tim struggled to accept Ty as part of the family, seeing him as a young man who didn't have what it takes to be part of the ranching legacy. But over time, Ty proved him wrong in the most powerful way. When Tim first sees Ty standing in front of him, his face hardens. He's been through so much with Amy and the family, and Ty's return brings a whirlwind of emotions. Tim is a man who guards his feelings carefully, but you can see the layers of resentment, disappointment, and yes, relief slowly begin to peel away. Tim approaches Ty with caution, eyeing him up and down as if trying to decide if this is the real Ty or if it's some kind of dream or illusion. You have a lot of making up to do, kid, Tim says gruffly, his voice filled with emotion. It's classic Tim tough on the outside, but deep down, he's relieved to see Ty back. Ty nods, his voice sincere. I know, Tim, and I'm ready to make things right. I've always been ready. Tim lets out a long sigh and then, surprisingly, pulls Ty into a hug. It's awkward at first, but as Tim pats Ty's back, his voice softens. Well, welcome home, son. For Tim, this moment represents acceptance, forgiveness, and growth. He's come a long way since the days when he doubted Ty's place at Heartland. Now, Tim sees the man Ty has become, a man who will always be a part of this family, no matter what. While the entire Heartland family is still processing Ty's incredible return, the one person whose emotions are perhaps the most complex is Amy Fleming. Amy has spent years mourning Ty's absence, not knowing whether she'd ever see him again. But now, here he is, standing in front of her, and everything has changed. The reunion, while joyful, has also brought a flood of emotions, questions, and uncertainties. So, what happens next for Amy and Ty? What do they do with all the time that has passed and the emotions they've carried? From the very beginning of their relationship, Ty and Amy's connection has been one of love, loss, and redemption. When Ty first walked back into Amy's life, it wasn't just the physical distance that separated them. It was the emotional baggage they both carried. In this scene, we see them finally come face to face after so many years apart. There's no dramatic confrontation or grand gesture, just two people standing in quiet understanding that so much has changed, but their love is still there. Ty, I don't even know where to begin, Amy says. I've missed so much. Missed you so much. I don't know how to make up for the years I was gone. but I'm here now. I want to be here with you, for Lindy. Amy responds, "You don't have to make up for anything, Ty. I've waited for this moment. Hoped for it. I didn't know if it would ever really happen. You've missed so much. Lindy, she's grown up without you. I've had to be both parents. But I made it. I did it. And now you're here. It's just so overwhelming. I know I've missed so much," Ty says, "and I can't change the past. But what I can do is be here now. I can be the husband you deserve, the father that Lindy deserves. I can't undo everything, but I promise I'll try to make up for it one day at a time." Amy looks at him, emotions swirling in her eyes. "It's not about undoing the past, Ty. It's about figuring out what happens now, what we do now. The world is different now. I'm different. We're different. You've changed, I've changed, and so has Lindy. I don't even know where to start. I want to move forward, but it's hard to even know what that looks like after everything." Wow, what an emotional roller coaster we've just experienced. Ty's return in Heartland Season 19 has brought so many emotions to the surface, and we can't wait to see how Amy, Lindy, and the whole family continue to navigate this new chapter. As we've seen, while the past can never be undone, the future is still full of possibilities. For Ty and Amy, their journey together is far from over, and there's so much more to come. But one thing is for sure, they're ready to face whatever comes their way, hand in hand. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Ty and Amy's emotional reunion, make sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth Heartland episode breakdowns, analysis, and all the latest updates. We want to hear from you, too. What do you think will happen next for Ty and Amy? How do you feel about Ty's return? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about it.